Hi everybody, Martyn Flicking Feathers again today. I'm tying a Juju Baetis. It's one of Charlie Craven's patterns. Very effective wee fly for the Baetis feeders. It can represent any of the Baetis species, PMDs, olives, iron blues even. As always, I'll put a materials list in the description, along with a link to the Patreon page for anybody who wants to support the channel, get access to the members only content, and be eligible for the giveaways. So I've got my hook and my vise. This is a TMCO 2488 size 16. The one that I had done before is a 20, but the 16's a wee bit bigger, should be a bit easier for you to see on the camera. Now I've got it in at a slightly odd angle to start. I'm going to start some white 16-aught veevus. Any white thread will do that's thin. Trim away my waist. I'm going to wind this down, say about halfway around the bend, about there, and then I'm going to take just a cheap hen hackle from a speckled hen saddle. I'm going to grab, say, 5 or 6, no more than that, fibres for the hackle. Now, I find it easier to tie this in just taking a single wrap over it and then just drawing it into length. Something like that. I want it to be similar in length to the abdomen, I would say. Maybe a wee bit shorter. You don't need a great big tail in a Baetis nymph. And I'm just going to take my thread forward. And at this point, what we'll do is I'll readjust the vise, the hook in the vise. And I'll just keep going up to the front, keeping things even. Trim away the waist. And I'm tying an olive one, so I've got 3 strands of super hair, 2 olive and 1 black. And I just take them off, tie a wee knot in them so that they stay together. That way you're not cutting and searching for them every time you tie a new fly. You can get a few flies without losing it in your desk. Take a couple of wraps over this, just pull it in, and take it back, keeping the thread turns nice and even. Come back up. And you don't want to make this fat. I mean, if you want, you can maybe put a wee slight taper in on a 16. You're getting to the big end of this fly, you know, so you can come in, slightly taper it. But that's the limit there, right? I'm not doing any more than that. I've got a wee end piece of my super hair there, just was a wee bit longer. Now, I just stroke these to get them to lie flat, and then I take my first wrap, will come around, watch the tail, just catching my tail there, there we go. Now come round, and then see if I'm turning that and I'm pulling the super hair vertically, That gets them to align, right, and sit properly. If you try to go around like that, see how it's opening up? I'll just go back and do that again so you can see. If I go like this, right, they want to open up, they want to separate. But if I pull up, keep my fingers quite close to the material, I pull up, they all lie flat. And you can build this nice, smooth, gently tapered body. And you can see by keeping my fingers quite close, I'm keeping things nice and even, no spaces. Getting to the front, catching it off. Trim that away. And then I just wet that, moisten it a wee bit and set it down on the desk. Half hitch. Trim that away. Just left a wee tag end, it doesn't matter because I'm going to tie over it, cover it in with some black 8/0 uni, just to give you a wee dark thorax. You could use olive, you can use the thread colour to suit. I'm going to come back to about the hook point. I'll tie in my flashback, which is just a medium pearly tinsel. You can use Mirage if you want. Just catch that in with a couple of turns. And I'm going to get 12 strands of fluoro fibre. And it is exactly 12. You want to keep this sparse. Now, fluoro fibre is actually organza. And for whatever reason, depending where you are, fluoro fibre can be a bit hard to get locally, and like the colours and all that you need. So what you can do is you can get yourself some organza ribbon if you're struggling, and just take that off. It's exactly the same stuff. I'm just setting that on, making sure it's right in the middle, spread across the thorax. Yeah, you want it on top, you don't want it at an angle. It's got to be nice and square, nice and straight. And just build yourself, and this takes very little, a wee sort of lozenge shape thorax. Bring your fluoro fibre over. There you go, 2 turns is plenty. I'll follow it with a tinsel, put it tight, make sure it's sitting. 2 wraps again, fold back, 2. Now I like to cut this right away because I know that I'm not going to have any trouble with the legs that way. It's up to you. So I'm going to split this, 6 on either side. 1, 2, 3, 6. I'm going to, on my side, I'm going to angle it slightly down so that when I pull it and take the thread round, the thread pushes it right onto the side as I want it. And then on your side, slightly up, let the thread just push it, and then just take a couple of wraps, no more. And then come in with your whip finish. trim away the waste. These legs, length's up to you. I like them just slightly longer than the thorax. Get them out of the way. And then the fluoro fibre, I don't tie a knot in it because I'm going to separate it when I tie it, but I just grab it with a pair of hackle pliers, and that does the next fly. Now, ordinarily you tie a dozen or whatever, however many you're tying, and then you would do the backs with the epoxy. You can use UV resin, but it can pop off the fly, whereas epoxy tends to stick a bit better. So I'm using just Gorilla epoxy, 5-minute epoxy, and mix up a batch. I don't like using longer setting stuff for these because I always worry that it can run off the back. But the 5-minute stuff, the working time's just about right. You know, it's just sitting on the back. It sticks. It glues to the back, and it sets up and stops running before it can sag. So I just like to come in with a wee bit of epoxy, make sure I've got a good amount on the back of the thorax there, and then I'll sort of drag it along. And I'm aiming for a sort of tapered shape from the back up towards the thorax over that pearly tinsel. Just get a wee check. That looks no bad. And then, obviously, usually you would do a batch of them and then just epoxy them all. Take it away in a bit of foam and just leave it sitting upright and it'll cure, and that's fine. So there you go, that's the Juju Baetis. I'll just put the wee one back in so you can see the finished fly. Once the epoxy sets, get that nice effect across the back. Really nice wee fly, certainly catches a lot of fish. Works for midge feeders too, well worth having in your box. So I hope that was useful, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to the channel. Tight lines guys, bye.